She is dying. The snow drinks her blood in greedy gulps, painting crimson roses across the white expanse. Each breath burns like swallowing glass. Each heartbeat feels like the last. Kira Ashford had always known she would die alone. Rogues like her, wolves without packs, without family, without worth, they didn't get gentle deaths. They didn't get funerals or flowers or anyone to remember their names. But she hadn't expected it to hurt this much. The poison courses through her veins like liquid fire, a reward for her failure. The syndicate doesn't forgive traitors. Doesn't forgive those who hesitate. She had one mission: infiltrate the Northern Kingdom. Get close to the Alpha King. End him. Simple. Clean. Final. Except nothing about Thorn Blackridge was simple. Her vision blurs. The world tilts sideways. She doesn't remember falling, but suddenly the sky is above her, gray and vast and utterly indifferent. Snowflakes land on her face, melting against her fever-hot skin. This is it, she thinks. This is how it ends. Not with glory. Not with purpose. Just snow. And silence. And the slow, creeping cold. But then, footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. Coming closer. By the moon, a voice breathes. Deep. Masculine. Rough as gravel and warm as summer storms. Hands, large, impossibly gentle, turn her over. She tries to see his face, but her eyes won't focus. Just impressions, dark hair, broad shoulders, eyes like molten gold. Stay with me, he commands, and there's such authority in those 3 words that her body obeys before her mind can protest. You will not die. Not here. Not tonight. She wants to laugh. Wants to tell him that death doesn't negotiate. That she's already gone. But darkness swallows her whole before she can speak. And in that darkness, she dreams of a king she was meant to kill. Chapter 1: The Wolf Who Saved Her. Consciousness returns in fragments. Warmth. The crackle of fire. The scent of pine and leather and something wild, something that makes her wolf stir for the first time in weeks. Kira's eyes flutter open. Her body feels impossibly heavy, as though her bones have been replaced with lead. She's in a bed, an actual bed with soft furs and linen that smells clean, and that alone tells her she's not where she's supposed to be. Rogues don't sleep in beds. The room is magnificent. Stone walls carved with intricate wolf motifs. A fireplace large enough to stand in. Windows that stretch from floor to ceiling, revealing a world of snow and starlight beyond. This isn't a room. It's a chamber fit for royalty. Panic flares hot in her chest. You're awake. The voice comes from the shadows near the fire. She turns her head, too quickly the room spins, and sees him. The man from the snow. No. Not just a man. Him. Thorn Blackridge. Alpha King of the Northern Kingdom. The wolf she'd been sent to destroy. He's even more devastating in firelight than he was in her feverish glimpses. Tall, easily 6.5 feet of pure, predatory power. His hair is black as a raven's wing, falling carelessly around a face that could have been carved by an artist obsessed with masculine beauty and brutal strength. Sharp jaw. High cheekbones. A scar cutting through his left eyebrow, giving him a dangerous edge. But it's his eyes that steal her breath. Gold. Pure, luminous gold, like coins caught in sunlight. Wolf eyes, even in his human form. And they're fixed on her with an intensity that makes her skin prickle. Where? Her voice cracks. She swallows, tries again. Where am I? My personal chambers, he says simply, as though this is perfectly reasonable. In the palace of Frostholm. The palace. She's in the palace. In his chambers. Her mission should be singing with triumph. She's exactly where the syndicate wanted her. Close enough to strike. Close enough to fulfill her purpose. So why does her stomach twist with something that feels dangerously like guilt? You were dying, Thorn continues. He moves closer, and she notices he's holding a cup. Steam rises from it, carrying the scent of herbs. Nightshade poisoning. Deadly to wolves. Agonizing. Whoever dosed you wanted you to suffer. He knows. He must know. This is a test, a trap. Drink this. He extends the cup. She stares at it. At him. Why would you help me? Something flickers across his face. Surprise, maybe. Or amusement. Why wouldn't I? I'm a rogue. You're a wolf in need. You don't know anything about me. I could be dangerous. Now he definitely looks amused. The corner of his mouth curves upward, and the effect is devastating. Little rogue, if you're dangerous, then you're also intelligent. And if you're intelligent, you know that harming me in my own palace would be spectacularly suicidal. He's not wrong. But he's also not right. Because the syndicate didn't send her here to fight him. They sent her to seduce him. To become his weakness. And then, when he trusted her completely, destroy him from within. Kira takes the cup. Their fingers brush, and she swears she feels electricity jump between them. His eyes darken slightly, and she knows he felt it too. She drinks. The tea is bitter but soothing, coating her ravaged throat with warmth. What's your name? He asks. This, at least, she can answer honestly. Kira. Kira. He repeats it slowly, as though tasting each syllable. I know who you are. She meets his gaze. Everyone knows who you are, Your Majesty. His expression shifts. Becomes unreadable. Then you know I don't make a habit of bringing rogues into my personal quarters. So why did you? The question hangs between them. The fire crackles. Snow whispers against the windows. When he finally answers, his voice is quieter. Almost vulnerable. Because when I found you in the snow, dying, alone. He pauses. Looks away. My wolf wouldn't let me leave you. Something in Kira's chest cracks. This wasn't supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to be kind. Wasn't supposed to look at her like she matters, like she's worth saving. He was supposed to be a monster. A tyrant. The syndicate had assured her, he was cruel, power-hungry, dangerous to everyone around him. But the man sitting beside her bed, the one who carried her through a blizzard and spent hours drawing poison from her veins. This man doesn't look like a monster at all. You should rest, Thorn says, standing. You're still weak. Wait. She doesn't know why she stops him. Doesn't know what she wants to say. He turns back. Waits. Thank you, she whispers. For saving my life. His expression softens in a way that makes him look younger. Almost boyish. Don't thank me yet, Kira Ashford. His smile is crooked. Heartbreaking. You might regret surviving when you realize what you've walked into. Then he's gone, leaving her alone with the fire and her racing thoughts and the terrible growing certainty that she's made a catastrophic mistake. Because she's already starting to care about the man she was sent to kill. Chapter 2, The Palace of Secrets. 3 days pass before Kira is strong enough to leave the bed. 3 days of sleeping and healing and trying desperately not to think about golden eyes and gentle hands. 3 days of servants bringing her food, fresh clothes, everything she could possibly need. 3 days of being treated like a guest instead of the threat she truly is. On the 4th morning, she finally ventures beyond the chamber doors. The Palace of Frostholm is breathtaking. It sprawls across the mountainside like a frozen crown, all soaring towers and crystalline windows and corridors that seem to go on forever. Everywhere she looks, there's beauty, tapestries depicting ancient wolf legends, sculptures of moonstone and silver, floors so polished she can see her reflection. It's overwhelming. Magnificent. Nothing like the Syndicate's compound, with its bare walls and the constant stench of fear. You shouldn't be out of bed. Kira spins. Thorn stands at the end of the corridor, dressed in dark leather and furs that make him look every inch the warrior king. His arms are crossed, but his expression is more concerned than angry. I'm fine, she says, lifting her chin. I heal fast. Evidently. He moves closer, and she's struck again by his sheer presence. He doesn't just walk, he commands space, owns it. But fine and fully recovered aren't the same thing. Are you always this bossy with your guests? Only the ones who nearly died in my territory. His tone is light, but there's something serious underneath. Come. Walk with me. It's not a request. But it's not quite a command either. Somewhere in between, an invitation wrapped in expectation. She should refuse. Should maintain distance. But her curiosity wins. They walk together through corridors of stone and starlight. Thorn points out paintings, tells her stories about his ancestors, explains the history carved into every wall. His voice is mesmerizing, rich and deep, with a cadence that makes even the simplest words sound like poetry. "Why are you being so kind to me?" Kira asks suddenly. "Really? I'm a rogue. I have no pack, no status, nothing to offer you." He stops walking, turns to face her fully. "Is that what you think?" His voice is soft. "That you have nothing to offer? It's the truth." "No." He steps closer, and her heart hammers against her ribs. "It's what someone told you. Someone who wanted you to believe you were worthless. But you're wrong, Kira. So wrong it breaks my heart." She can't breathe, can't think, can't do anything but stare at him. "You don't know me," she manages. "Then let me." His hand reaches out, hovers near her face but doesn't quite touch. "Let me know you. Let me prove that whoever made you believe you were nothing, they lied." This is the moment. The perfect moment. He's vulnerable, open, practically offering himself to her on a silver platter. She should strike, should seduce, should do what she was trained to do. But when she opens her mouth, what comes out is, "Why did you leave your kingdom?" Surprise flickers across his features. "What?" "The night you found me. You were alone. No guards, no attendants. The Alpha King, wandering through a blizzard by himself." She tilts her head. "Why?" For a long moment, he doesn't answer. Then quietly, "Sometimes the crown feels too heavy. Sometimes I need to remember what it's like to just be a wolf. Nothing more." The honesty in his voice cuts through her like a blade. "I understand that," she whispers. "More than you know." His eyes search hers. "Who hurt you, Kira?" "Everyone. No one. Herself, most of all." "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." "Why?" The word bursts out. "Why do you care? You found a dying rogue. You could have left me in the snow, and no one would have blamed you. Instead you brought me here, into your home, your sanctuary. You've shown me nothing but kindness. I don't understand." "Because you matter." He says it like it's the simplest thing in the world. "Because every wolf matters. Because the moment I saw you, something in me recognized something in you, and he stops. Shakes his head. "I can't explain it. But I know with absolute certainty that finding you wasn't an accident. Destiny." He's talking about destiny. About fate. About all the things the Syndicate taught her were lies used to control the weak. But when Thorn looks at her like this, like she's something precious, something worth saving, it doesn't feel like a lie. It feels terrifyingly real. "Come," he says again, offering his hand. "There's something I want to show you." She should refuse. Should remember her mission, her purpose, the poison waiting in her bag for the perfect moment. Instead, she takes his hand and lets the Alpha King lead her deeper into the Palace of Secrets. Chapter 3, The Training Grounds. He takes her to the training grounds. It's an enormous courtyard, open to the sky, surrounded by high stone walls. Wolves in human form spar in pairs, their movements fluid and deadly. The sound of steel on steel rings out, punctuated by grunts of effort and the occasional howl of triumph. These are Thorn's warriors, the elite of the Northern Kingdom. And they're magnificent. Everyone stops, Kira murmurs as Thorn leads her onto the field. "They're staring." "They're curious," he corrects. "We don't often have visitors. Especially not rogues." She finishes, voice sharp. "I was going to say beautiful women," he says mildly. "But yes, that too." Beautiful. He called her beautiful. Casual as breathing, like it's simply a fact. Her traitorous heart skips. A woman approaches, tall and muscular, with silver blonde hair braided down her back and scars crisscrossing her arms. She moves like violence contained in skin, every step purposeful and predatory. "Your Majesty." She inclines her head. Her eyes, ice blue and assessing, fix on Kira. "And guest." "Lyanna, this is Kira," Thorn introduces. "Kira, Lyanna Frostborn. My head of security and oldest friend." Friend. Not subordinate. Not servant. Friend. Pleasure, Lioness says, though her tone suggests otherwise. Should I arrange a guest suite? Or will she be continuing to occupy your personal chambers? There's a challenge in the question. A test. That's Kira's decision, Thorn says smoothly. She's welcome wherever she feels most comfortable. How progressive. Lioness' smile doesn't reach her eyes. Tell me, Kira, what brings a rogue to our borders? Running from something? Or toward it? The question is a blade hidden in silk. Neither, Kira answers. I was simply passing through. In the middle of a blizzard. Convenient. Lioness. Thorn's voice drops an octave. Not quite a growl, but close. Stand down. The warrior woman holds Kira's gaze for another beat, then nods. As you command. She turns on her heel and stalks away. I apologize, Thorn sighs. She's protective. Sometimes to a fault. She doesn't trust me. Can you blame her? You appeared out of nowhere, nearly dead, with no explanation. He faces her. I don't blame her. But I don't share her suspicion. Maybe you should. The words escape before Kira can stop them. Thorn's eyes narrow. Why would you say that? Because it's true. Because he should be suspicious. Because she's exactly the threat Lioness senses. I just mean, you don't know me. You shouldn't trust me so easily. Perhaps. He steps closer. Too close. She can feel heat radiating from him, can smell pine and winter and something uniquely him. Or perhaps my instincts are telling me something your words aren't. Her pulse thunders. And what are your instincts saying? That you're afraid. That you're running from something that terrifies you more than death. That you've been hurt so badly, you can't imagine safety exists. His hand rises, cups her cheek with devastating gentleness. And that beneath all that fear and pain, you're extraordinary. She should pull away. Should maintain the distance necessary for her mission. Instead, she leans into his touch like a flower turning toward the sun. You don't know what you're saying, she whispers. Don't I? His thumb traces her cheekbone. Show me. Train with me. Fight with me. Let me see who you really are. What? He gestures to the training grounds. You're a wolf. Which means you're a warrior, whether you've acknowledged it or not. Show me your strength. It's a terrible idea. Getting closer to him, lowering her guard, revealing her skills, all of it runs counter to her training. But something wild and reckless surges in her chest. How long has it been since she fought for joy instead of survival? Since she moved her body for pleasure instead of necessity? All right, she hears herself say. But don't hold back. His smile is pure wolf, sharp and delighted. Wouldn't dream of it. They circle each other in the center of the grounds. Around them, warriors pause their own training to watch. Kira feels the weight of their attention, but Thorn's presence drowns out everything else. He moves like water. Like shadow. Every step calculated, every shift of weight deliberate. She mirrors him, falling into patterns the syndicate drilled into her bones. Watch. Wait. Find the weakness. Thorn strikes first, a testing blow, quick and controlled. She deflects it easily, spinning away. His eyes gleam with approval. They dance. There's no other word for it. Attack and counter, strike and parry, a conversation held in violence and grace. He's strong, but she's fast. He has reach, but she has unpredictability. Minutes blur together. Sweat beads on her skin. Her muscles sing with exertion, with the pure joy of movement. Thorn is laughing, actually laughing, as he blocks her kick. Where did you learn to fight like this? Where did you learn to telegraph your left hook? She counters, ducking under his arm. Cheeky. He sweeps her legs. She rolls, comes up grinning. When was the last time she smiled during a fight? They crash together, grappling. His strength bears her backward, but she uses his momentum against him, twisting. They go down in a tangle of limbs. And suddenly she's on top of him, breathing hard, victorious. His eyes are molten gold. His chest heaves beneath hers. And the way he's looking at her. You're incredible, he breathes. Time stops. The training grounds fade. The watching warriors disappear. There's only this, his body beneath hers, his hands on her hips, his eyes burning into her soul. Thorn, she whispers. I know. His voice is rough. Raw. I feel it too. The bond. The pull. The inexplicable, undeniable connection that's been building since he found her in the snow. She should move. Should get up. Should remember why she's here. But his hand rises, threads through her hair, and pulls her down until their foreheads touch. Tell me I'm not imagining this, he says. Tell me you feel it. She should lie. Should deny. Should protect them both from the inevitable heartbreak. I feel it, she confesses. And in that moment, everything changes. Chapter 4, The Cost of Lies. That night, Kira can't sleep. She lies in Thorne's guest chamber. She'd insisted on moving from his personal rooms, needing space to think, and stares at the ceiling. The poison vial weighs heavy in her pack, a constant reminder of why she's here. Kill him. Seduce, betray, destroy. Simple. The syndicate made it sound so simple. But nothing about Thorne Blackridge is simple. He's kind. He's just. He trains with his warriors instead of commanding from a throne. He saved her life without asking for anything in return. He looks at her like she matters, like she's more than the broken, discarded rogue everyone else sees. How is she supposed to kill a man like that? You don't have a choice, the syndicate's voice echoes in her mind. Fail, and we'll kill everyone you've ever cared about. Except she doesn't have anyone. That's the cruel joke. The syndicate orchestrated her isolation, made sure she had nothing and no one, so that obedience would be her only option. Until now. Now, for the first time in years, she's starting to care about something. Someone. And it's going to destroy her. A knock on the door startles her from her spiraling thoughts. Kira. Thorne's voice, soft through the wood. Are you awake? She should pretend to be sleeping. Should maintain boundaries. Come in, she calls instead. He enters, still dressed despite the late hour. His hair is disheveled, like he's been running his hands through it. He looks tired. Worried. Beautiful. I couldn't sleep, he admits. Kept thinking about today. About you. Her heart clenches. Thorne. I know we just met. I know this is impossible, insane. But Kira. He crosses the room, sits on the edge of her bed. I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop wanting to know everything. Where you came from, what you've survived, what makes you smile, what breaks your heart. He stops. Laughs softly. Listen to me. The great Alpha King, reduced to rambling like a lovesick pup. Lovesick. The word pierces her like an arrow. You shouldn't feel that way about me, she says quietly. You don't know me. Not really. Then tell me. Help me understand. She can't. She can't tell him about the syndicate, about her mission, about the poison waiting to end him. She can't tell him that every moment they spend together is built on lies. But maybe she can tell him something true. I was 13 when I lost my pack, she begins. Her voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. Rogues attacked. Slaughtered everyone. My parents, my siblings, my friends. Everyone I'd ever loved. Thorne's hand finds hers. Squeezes gently. I survived because I hid. Like a coward. The old shame burns. I stayed hidden while my family died. And afterward, I couldn't join another pack. Couldn't bear the thought of belonging somewhere, of caring about people, only to watch them die too. So you've been alone ever since, he says softly. For over 10 years. She nods, not trusting her voice. Kira, look at me. She does. His eyes are gentle. Understanding. Surviving doesn't make you a coward. It makes you strong. And being afraid to care again after losing everything? That's not weakness. That's being human. Being wolf. Being real. Tears prick her eyes. She blinks them back furiously. I don't know how to do this, she confesses. Don't know how to let someone in. Don't know how to trust that you won't, that this won't end badly. He offers a sad smile. I can't promise it won't. Life is uncertain. Dangerous. Especially for wolves like us. But I can promise that whatever time we have, I'll spend it proving you're worth loving. Worth fighting for. Worth everything. The tears spill over. She can't stop them. Thorn pulls her into his arms, and she breaks. Sobs against his chest, months and years of loneliness and fear and desperate, aching loneliness pouring out. He holds her through it all. Strokes her hair. Murmurs soft reassurances. Doesn't try to fix her or shush her or make it stop, just lets her feel. When the storm finally passes, she pulls back slightly. Her eyes are swollen, her face blotchy. She must look terrible. But Thorn looks at her like she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. Stay with me tonight, he whispers. Not for anything else. Just stay. Let me hold you. Let me chase the nightmares away. Every instinct screams at her to refuse. This is too much, too fast, too dangerous for both of them. But she's so tired of being alone. Okay, she breathes. They lie down together, fully clothed, his body curved around hers like a shield. His warmth seeps into her bones. His heartbeat becomes her lullaby. For the first time in 10 years, Kira falls asleep feeling safe. And in the morning, she knows she can't go through with her mission. She can't kill him. Which means the syndicate will kill her instead. Chapter 5. The hunter becomes the hunted. 2 weeks pass like a dream. Kira trains with the warriors. Explores the palace. Sits in on council meetings where Thorn navigates politics with a deft hand that surprises her. He's not just a strong leader, he's wise, patient, willing to listen to differing opinions. Nothing like the tyrant the syndicate described. She and Thorn grow closer with each passing day. Not physically, though the tension between them simmers constantly, but emotionally. They talk for hours. Share meals. Walk through snow-covered gardens under starlight. He tells her about the burden of kingship, the loneliness of command. She tells him carefully edited versions of her past, truths wrapped in strategic omissions. And every night, he holds her. Just holds her. Patient and respectful and devastatingly perfect. She's falling in love with him. The realization hits her one morning during training. She's watching him spar with Lyanna, who's slowly, grudgingly warming to Kira, and the way he moves, the sound of his laugh, the genuine joy on his face. She loves him. Completely. Irrevocably. Catastrophically. He cares for you, you know. Kira startles. An older man stands beside her, gray hair, kind eyes, wearing healer's robes. She recognizes him from the palace, Magnus, Thorn's personal physician. I'm sorry, she manages. The king. He cares for you. More than he's cared for anyone in a very long time. Magnus smiles gently. I've known him since he was a boy. Never seen him look at someone the way he looks at you. Pride and guilt war in her chest. He barely knows me. Doesn't he? Wolves know. Our instincts don't lie. The healer's gaze sharpens. The question is, do your instincts agree? Before she can answer, a commotion erupts at the gates. Shouts. The clash of steel. Alarm bells begin to ring. Thorn's head snaps up. In an instant, he's moving, crossing the training grounds in long strides. Kira follows. The palace entrance is chaos. Guards rush to positions. Lyanna barks orders. And in the center of it all, a man. Bloodied, exhausted, barely standing. His clothes are shredded. His eyes wild. Your Majesty, he gasps. I bring warning. The syndicate, they're coming. Kira's blood turns to ice. No. No, no, no. Thorn steps forward. What syndicate? Explain. Assassins. Mercenaries. They've been hunting rogues, forcing them into service. Building an army. The man coughs, blood on his lips. They're planning to attack the Northern Kingdom. To kill you and take your territory. How do you know this? Lyanna demands. Because I was one of them. Until I saw what they really are, monsters. I escaped. Came to warn you. His eyes find Kira's across the crowd. And something in his expression, recognition, maybe, or accusation, makes her stomach drop. They have agents everywhere. Spies. People you'd never suspect. Thorn follows the man's gaze. Sees him looking at Kira. The world narrows to a single point, the king's eyes meeting hers. Kira. His voice is careful. Controlled. But she can hear the question underneath. Do you know something about this? Every eye turns to her. Suspicious. Assessing. Waiting. She could lie. Could deny. The syndicate taught her how to deceive, how to manipulate, how to wear false faces like masks. But standing there, with Thorn looking at her with dawning horror, she can't do it anymore. Can't keep lying to the man she loves. Yes, she whispers. I know about the syndicate. Silence. Absolute, crushing silence. Because you were running from them? Thorn asks. There's hope in his voice. Desperate, fragile hope. Because they're hunting you too? She could give him that lie. Could let him believe she's just another victim. But she's done with lies. No, she forces out. Because they sent me. To infiltrate your palace. To get close to you. Her voice breaks. To kill you. The words land like boulders. Like bombs. Thorn's face goes blank. Empty. A door slamming shut. Arrest her, he says quietly. Thorn, please. Arrest her. The roar echoes off stone walls, makes the windows rattle. His eyes flash gold, pure wolf. Lock her in the dungeons. And someone find out if this messenger is telling the truth. Guards surge forward. Kira doesn't resist as they seize her arms, slap iron cuffs on her wrists. What's the point? She deserves this. Deserves worse. As they drag her away, she looks back. Thorn stands rigid, fists clenched, every line of his body radiating betrayal and rage. I'm sorry, she calls out. Her voice cracks. I'm so sorry. I know you'll never believe me, but I couldn't do it. I was never going to. Save your lies for someone who cares, he cuts her off. His voice is ice. Get her out of my sight. The last thing she sees before they haul her around the corner is Lionel's hand on Thorn's shoulder, trying to offer comfort. Comfort for the wound Kira herself inflicted. The dungeons are cold and dark and exactly what she deserves. She curls up on the stone floor, wraps her arms around her knees, and finally, lets herself shatter completely. Chapter 6, Breaking and Becoming. 3 days in darkness. 3 days with nothing but cold stone and her own thoughts and the terrible knowledge that she's destroyed the only good thing she's ever had. Guards bring her food, basic gruel, water. They don't speak to her. Don't acknowledge her pleas to see Thorn, to explain. On the 4th day, the cell door opens. But it's not Thorn who enters. It's Lionel. The warrior woman looks at her with undisguised contempt. Well, looks like my instincts were right. I know. Kira's voice is hoarse from disuse. You were right about everything. Not everything. I thought you'd actually go through with it. Lionel crouches down, eyes hard. But apparently you grew a conscience. Or fell in love. Hard to tell which. Both, Kira admits. I fell in love with him. And once I did. I couldn't. I was trying to figure out how to warn him, how to protect him from the syndicate without revealing what I was. But I waited too long. You waited until someone else exposed you, Lionel corrects. That's not the same as coming clean. I know. Tears stream down Kira's face. I know I'm a coward. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I need him to know that I never would have hurt him. That what we had was real. That I love. Don't. Lionel's voice turns sharp. Don't you dare say you love him when you spent weeks lying to his face. I do love him. The words tear out of her. I love him more than I've ever loved anything. And I hate myself for what I've done, for what I am, for every moment of deception. But my feelings were never fake. Never. Lionel studies her. Long assessing. He's destroyed, she finally says. I've never seen him like this. He trusted you. Opened himself to you. And you betrayed him in the worst possible way. Each word is a knife. Kira welcomes the pain. I know. The council wants you executed. Public beheading, as a warning to other would-be assassins. Fear jolts through her. Not of death, she's been expecting that. But of dying without making this right. What does Thorn want? He won't say. Won't even discuss it. Just locks himself in his study and goes over maps, preparing for the Syndicate's attack. Lyanna stands. But I'll tell you what I think. What? Kira barely dares to hope. I think you're telling the truth. About loving him. About not being able to go through with it. The warrior crosses her arms. I also think you're a damned fool who made terrible choices. But... She pauses. The Syndicate is coming. And you know things we don't. Their tactics. Their numbers. Their weaknesses. Understanding dawns. You want me to help. I want you to prove you're more than a traitor. More than a weapon they tried to aim at my king. Lyanna's eyes bore into hers. Help us stop them. Help us protect this kingdom. And maybe, you'll earn a chance to apologize properly before you die. It's not mercy. It's not forgiveness. But it's a chance. I'll tell you everything, Kira says. Every detail I know. How they operate, who leads them, their strategies. All of it. Good. Lyanna moves toward the door. I'll bring maps and paper. You'll mark out everything. And if you're lying, if this is another trick. It's not. I swear on my life, on everything I have, it's not. Lyanna nods once. Then let's save a kingdom. The next hours pass in a blur of information. Kira draws maps from memory, marks safe houses and training compounds. She names every Syndicate leader she knows, describes their fighting styles, reveals their supply chains. Lyanna takes notes with fierce efficiency. Occasionally she asks sharp questions that make it clear she's testing for inconsistencies. There are none. Because Kira is telling the truth. Finally, completely, painfully. This is good intelligence, Lyanna admits grudgingly. The council will want to hear it. Will Thorn be there? The warrior's expression softens fractionally. Yes. Can you handle seeing him? No. Absolutely not. It will destroy her. Yes, Kira lies. Chapter 7, Council of War. The council chamber is magnificent and intimidating in equal measure. A long table of dark wood, surrounded by high-backed chairs. Maps and battle plans cover every surface. And seated around the table, the kingdom's elite. Warriors, advisors, nobles. Faces stern and unforgiving. And at the head of it all, Thorn. He looks terrible. Dark circles under his eyes. Jaw tight. His posture rigid with barely controlled tension. When Kira enters, flanked by guards, still in chains, he doesn't look at her. The dismissal hurts worse than any blow. Your Majesty, Lyanna begins, the prisoner has information critical to our defense. Then let her speak. Thorn's voice is flat. Emotionless. Quickly. Kira steps forward. Her chains rattle in the silence. The Syndicate has been planning this for months, she begins. They've been recruiting rogues, by force mostly. Threatening their families, their loved ones. Building an army of wolves who have nothing to lose. How many? Asks an older councilman. At least 300. Maybe more by now. Shocked murmurs ripple through the room. 300 trained wolves is a significant force. They'll attack from the western pass, Kira continues, moving to the map. It's narrow defensible, but they're counting on overwhelming numbers. They plan to strike during the new moon, 3 days from now, when visibility is lowest. And their leader? Thorn asks. Still not looking at her. Commander Silas Crow. Ex-military. Brilliant tactician. Completely ruthless. She swallows hard. He's the one who recruited me. Trained me. Sent me here. Did he train others? Lyanna cuts in. Are there more assassins in the kingdom? I don't know. Possibly. The Syndicate compartmentalizes information. I only knew my own mission. Thorn's jaw tightens. So there could be more traitors among us. The word traitor lands like a physical blow. But Kira forces herself to continue. Yes. You should increase security. Trust no one you can't verify. Wise advice, Thorn says coldly, coming from someone who spent weeks lying to everyone here. Silence crashes down. Kira's eyes burn, but she won't cry. Not here. Not now. You're right, she says quietly. Everything you think about me, everything you feel, you're right. I'm a traitor. A liar. I deserve your hatred. She forces herself to meet his eyes finally. But whatever I am, whatever I've done, I'm telling the truth now. The syndicate is coming. And if you don't prepare, they'll slaughter everyone in this palace. Thorn holds her gaze. Gold eyes churning with emotions she can't read. Get her out, he finally says. Back to the dungeons. Thorn. I said get her out. The roar shakes the walls. His eyes flash fully wolf. I don't want to see her face. I don't want to hear her voice. Remove her. Now. The guards seize her arms. Start dragging her toward the door. I love you. The words burst out of Kira, desperate and raw. I know you don't believe me. I know I have no right. But I need you to know, I love you. I have from almost the beginning. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Thorn's face could be carved from stone. Love. His laugh is bitter. You don't know what that word means. I do now. Tears streak her face. Because of you. You taught me what it means to care about someone more than yourself. To want their happiness more than your own survival. That's why I couldn't kill you. Why I can never, ever hurt you. Even if it costs me everything. For just a moment, something flickers in his expression. Pain maybe. Or longing. Then it's gone, replaced by ice. Take her away, he orders quietly. This time, Kira doesn't fight. Just lets them lead her back to darkness. But as the chamber door closes, she hears Liona's voice. She's telling the truth about the attack. We need to prepare. And Thorn's response, barely audible, I know. It's not forgiveness. Not even close. But it's acknowledgement. And right now, that's all she can hope for. Chapter 8, The storm approaches. The palace transforms into a war machine. Even from her cell, Kira can hear it. The march of soldiers. The ring of steel being sharpened. Messengers running constantly. The kingdom preparing for siege. No one comes to see her. No updates. No information. Just cold and silence and the crushing weight of her own guilt. On the second day, Magnus visits. The old healer brings fresh bandages, her wrists are raw from the iron cuffs, and medicine for her lingering weakness from the poison. You don't have to do this, Kira tells him. I'm just a traitor waiting for execution. You're a wolf who's suffering. Magnus tends her wounds with gentle efficiency. And I'm a healer. That's all that matters. The king doesn't see it that way. The king is in pain. The old man's eyes are kind. Knowing. He trusted you with something he rarely gives anyone, his heart. And you broke it. I know. Do you? Do you understand what you took from him? Magnus sits back. Thorn lost his parents young. Took the throne at 17. Every person around him wants something. Power, favor, access. He spent his entire adult life unable to trust anyone's motives. Until you. Each word is an arrow finding its mark. With you, he thought he'd found something real. Someone who didn't want his crown or his resources. Who just wanted him. Magnus shakes his head. And now he knows even that was a lie. It wasn't. Kira's voice breaks. My mission was a lie. My reasons for being here were a lie. But what I felt, what I feel, that was always real. Then you'll have to prove it. Because words won't be enough anymore. How? How can I prove something he'll never believe? Magnus stands, gathering his supplies. Actions, child. Always actions. Words are wind. But what we do, who we become when tested, that's truth. He leaves her with those cryptic words and a mind churning with impossible possibilities. That night, something wakes her. A sound. Faint. Wrong. Kira sits up, senses suddenly screaming alert. She sniffs the air, strains her ears. There. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Moving through the palace with unnatural stealth. And a scent she recognizes with sinking dread, wolfsbane and steel. The syndicate's signature. They're already here. Inside the palace. Guard! She shouts, rushing to her cell door. Guard! Footsteps approach, but they're not hurrying. They're casual. Confident. A figure appears. Young guard, barely 20. His eyes are cold. Well, he drawls. The failed assassin. Silas sends his regards. Horror floods through her. You're one of them. One of several. We've been here for weeks. Waiting. His smile is cruel. The attack from the west? That's the distraction. The real strike is happening right now, from within. No. The king will be dead within the hour. And you'll have the privilege of knowing you led us right to him. He turns away. Enjoy your last moments, traitor. Panic explodes in Kira's chest. Thorn. They're going after Thorn. She grabs the cell bars, pulls with all her strength. The iron holds firm. She tries again, desperation lending her power. The bars groan. Bend slightly. Her wolf surges forward. She's been suppressing it, keeping it down since the arrest. But now she lets it rise, channels every ounce of strength. The bars bend further. Further. With a scream of effort, she tears them apart just enough to squeeze through. The door to the dungeons is locked. She rams her shoulder against it once, twice. It splinters. She bursts into the corridor, following the scent of treachery and death. Her chains drag behind her, but she doesn't care. Doesn't stop. She has to find Thorn. Has to warn him. Has to prove, with actions, that her love is real. Chapter 9. Blood and Redemption. The palace is chaos. Kira races through corridors, following sounds of battle. Screams. Clash of steel. The wet sound of bodies falling. She rounds a corner and nearly collides with a syndicate wolf, massive, scarred, swinging a bloodied sword. He grins when he sees her. Well, if it isn't Silas's little pet. She doesn't let him finish. Grabs her chains, swings them like a weapon. The iron cuffs catch him across the jaw with a sickening crunch. He goes down. She keeps moving. More syndicate wolves appear. She fights them with chains and desperation, taking hits but not stopping. Can't stop. Every second wasted is a second Thorn is in danger. She bursts into the throne room. And freezes. It's a massacre. Bodies everywhere. Thorn's guards, fighting desperately against overwhelming numbers. And in the center, Thorn himself. Still standing. Still fighting. Blood-streaked and magnificent, moving through enemies like a force of nature. But there are so many. Too many. And behind him, sneaking through the chaos with a poisoned blade raised. The young guard from the dungeons. Moving in for the killing blow. Kira doesn't think. Just acts. She launches herself across the room, chains trailing. Crashes into the guard just as he strikes. The blade meant for Thorn's back catches her shoulder instead, slicing deep. Pain explodes white-hot through her. She and the guard go down in a tangle. He snarls, tries to stab her again. She grabs his wrist, holds the blade away with shaking arms. Traitor, he spits. You're supposed to be locked up. I got out. She headbutts him. Bone crunches. And nobody touches him. Nobody. They grapple. He's stronger, fresher. She's wounded and weakened from days in the dungeon. The blade inches closer to her throat. A massive hand grabs the guard by the neck, lifts him bodily into the air. Thorn. Eyes pure gold. Wolf at the surface. Furious and protective and absolutely deadly. You dare, he growls, attack in my home? The guard tries to speak. Can't. Thorn's grip is iron. You dare threaten my people? The growl deepens. My kingdom. He throws the guard across the room. The man hits the wall with a sickening crack and doesn't rise. Then Thorn turns to Kira. Sees her on the ground, bleeding. His expression shifts from rage to something else. Concern. Fear. You're wounded, he breathes, dropping to his knees beside her. I'm fine. You need to, there are more. Inside the palace. This was the real attack. She tries to stand, gasps as pain lances through her shoulder. Western Pass is a distraction. They're already here. Lyanna. Thorn roars. Sweep the palace. Find every last one. His head of security appears, herself bloodied but standing. Already on it. She races off, bellowing orders. Thorn turns back to Kira. His hands hover over her wound, uncertain. You're bleeding. Why aren't you in the dungeons? Broke out. Had to warn you. Had to, the adrenaline is fading. Pain rushes in to replace it. The blade. It was poisoned. Meant for you. Understanding dawns on his face. You took it. You took a killing blow meant for me. Of course I did. She tries to smile, but it comes out as a grimace. Told you. I love you. Would never let them hurt you. Kira. I know you don't believe me. No, I destroyed your trust. But I needed you to know, needed you to see, I meant what I said. Every word. Her vision is blurring. The poison working fast. I'm sorry. For everything. But I'm not sorry for loving you. No. Thorn's voice breaks. No, you don't get to do this. Don't get to sacrifice yourself and leave me. He scoops her into his arms, stands. Magnus. Where's Magnus? Here. The healer appears, rushing over. He takes one look at Kira and pales. The poison. Save her, Thorn commands. I don't care what it takes. Save her. My lord, I don't even know what poison this is. Then figure it out. The roar echoes. She doesn't get to die. Not like this. Not after, his voice cracks. Please. Please save her. Magnus nods. Get her to my workroom. Now. As Thorn carries her through the palace, Kira fights to stay conscious. Around them, the battle continues. Thorn's wolves are winning now, driving the syndicate forces back. You're safe, she murmurs. That's good. That's all that matters. You matter, Thorn says fiercely. You stubborn, infuriating, brave, idiotic woman, you matter. Don't you dare give up. Not giving up. Her eyes drift closed. Just tired. So tired. Kira. Kira, stay with me. Always, she breathes. Always with you. Then darkness takes her. Chapter 10, Aftermath and Awakening. Consciousness returns slowly. Reluctantly. Kira becomes aware of things in pieces, softness beneath her. The scent of herbs and smoke. A warm weight on her hand. Pain. But dulled. Manageable. She opens her eyes. Magnus' workroom. Shelves lined with bottles and books. A fire crackling in the hearth. And beside her bed, slumped in a chair, his hand wrapped around hers. Thorn. He's asleep. Or trying to be. His face is haggard, dark circles under his eyes. He's still in his battle-stained clothes, dried blood flaking on his skin. How long has he been here? 3 days, Magnus says softly. He appears from the shadows, smiling gently. 3 days he's been at your side. Refusing to leave. Barely eating or sleeping. The battle. Kira's voice is a rasp. 1. The syndicate forces were routed. Those who survived fled. And we've been rooting out the infiltrators one by one. The healer checks her bandages. The kingdom is secure. Relief floods through her. And Thorn? Is he hurt? Minor injuries. Nothing serious. Magnus' eyes twinkle. Though I'd say his heart took the worst damage. Before Kira can ask what he means, Thorn stirs. His eyes flutter open. For a moment, he looks disoriented. Then he sees her, awake watching him, and the expression that crosses his face is pure unguarded joy. You're awake. His voice is rough with emotion. Thank the moon you're awake. Hi, she manages. Hi. His laugh is watery. You scared me. Do you have any idea, when that blade went into you, I thought, he can't finish. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for saving my life, you ridiculous woman. He stands, moves closer, hesitates. Can I? She nods. He sits on the edge of the bed, his hand finding hers again. Like it belongs there. I'll give you privacy, Magnus murmurs, slipping out. Silence settles. Not uncomfortable, but heavy with unspoken things. The young guard, Kira finally says. The one who tried to kill you. Is he? Dead. But before he died, he gave us names. Locations. We've dismantled the syndicate's entire northern operation. Thorne's jaw tightens. It's over. They'll never threaten this kingdom again. Good. That's good. Kira. He turns her hand over, traces patterns on her palm. I need to say something. And I need you to listen. Her heart hammers. Okay. When you told me the truth about why you were here, I felt, he stops. Swallows. Betrayed. Furious. Heartbroken. I wanted to hate you. Tried to hate you. Told myself everything between us was a lie. Each word is a knife. Kira braces for the killing blow. But then you broke out of the dungeons. Came to warn me. Took a poisoned blade meant for my heart. His eyes meet hers, gold and bright with unshed tears. And I realized, you were willing to die for me. Not as an assassin. Not as a spy. But as the woman who loved me. I do, she whispers. Love you. So much it terrifies me. I know. His thumb brushes her knuckles. I know now. Because you proved it. Not with words, with actions. You chose me over the syndicate. Over your own survival. You chose love, even knowing I might never forgive you. I don't expect forgiveness, she says quickly. I know what I did was unforgivable. I just needed you to be safe. Needed to make up for. Kira. He cups her face. I forgive you. The words don't register at first. Can't register. Because they're impossible. What? I forgive you. For the lies. The deception. All of it. His smile is tender. You were a prisoner, forced to carry out a mission or die. You were trying to survive in an impossible situation. And when it came down to it, when you had to choose, you chose me. Chose us. How can I not forgive that? Tears spill down her cheeks. I don't deserve this. Don't deserve you. Maybe not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He leans forward, rests his forehead against hers. Because somewhere in the mess of lies and truths, I fell in love with you too. With your strength. Your courage. The way you fight even when you're terrified. The way you try so hard to protect the people you care about. Thorne. I love you, Kira Ashford. Rogue. Would-be assassin. The woman who saved my life. His breath mingles with hers. And if you'll have me, if you can forgive me for not trusting you sooner, for letting my hurt blind me to your truth, I'd very much like to spend the rest of my life proving you're worth everything. She can't speak. Can't breathe. Can only stare at him through tears. Is that a yes? He asks, voice trembling with hope and fear. Yes, she chokes out. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. He kisses her then. Soft and sweet and full of promise. A kiss that tastes like forgiveness and new beginnings. Like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. When they finally part, both are crying and laughing and holding each other like they'll never let go. The council won't like this, Kira says eventually. Your king, with a former assassin. The council will deal with it. Thorne grins. Besides, after you saved my life and helped us destroy the syndicate? You're a hero. They'll come around. And if they don't? Then they can find a new king. He says it simply. Like it's fact. Because I'm not giving you up. Not for politics. Not for propriety. Not for anything. She believes him. Can see the truth blazing in his golden eyes. So what happens now? She asks. Now? He kisses her forehead. Now you heal. Then we deal with rebuilding. Making sure no remnants of the syndicate remain. His smile turns playful. And somewhere in all that, I'm hoping you'll agree to stay. Permanently. Are you asking me to join your pack? I'm asking you to be my mate. The words are soft. Serious. My partner. My equal. My queen, if you'll have the title. Though I understand if you need time. I don't need time. Kira cups his face, making him look at her. I've been alone my whole life. Been running and hiding and surviving. But with you? I finally found where I belong. So yes. I'll be your mate. Your partner. Whatever you need me to be. His answering smile could light the darkest night. Then I have one more question. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out something small. A ring. Simple silver, set with a moonstone that glows with inner light. Kira Ashford, will you marry me? The tears start fresh. That's not really a question after everything we just said. Humor me. Yes. She laughs through her tears. Yes, I'll marry you. You ridiculous, wonderful, perfect man. He slides the ring onto her finger. It fits like it was made for her. Like it was always meant to be there. They kiss again. Deeper this time. Full of hunger and hope and the promise of forever. When they finally break apart, both breathless, Kira whispers, I can't believe this is real. That you're real. That we survived all of this. Believe it. Thorn pulls her close, careful of her injuries. We're survivors, you and I. We've both been through hell. But we found each other in the fire. And nothing, is going to tear us apart again. She settles against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Strong. Steady. Alive because she saved him. And he saved her right back. Not from poison or death. But from a lifetime of believing she was worthless. Unlovable. Broken beyond repair. I love you, she murmurs. I love you too. He kisses the top of her head. My brave, beautiful rogue. Your rogue, she corrects, smiling. Only yours. Only mine, he agrees. And in the quiet of the healing room, surrounded by the scent of herbs and hope, they hold each other and dream of the future they'll build together. A future born from lies and pain and impossible choices. But ultimately, a future built on the most powerful truth of all. Love. Real, fierce, unbreakable love. Epilogue. 1 year later. The coronation is magnificent. All of the Northern Kingdom has gathered to witness their king take a queen. The great hall is bedecked with winter roses and silver banners. Hundreds of wolves, pack members, nobles, common folk, fill every available space. And at the front, standing beneath an arch of woven moonflowers, Thorn waits. He's dressed in ceremonial robes, midnight blue and silver, his crown catching the light. But his eyes are fixed on the entrance, waiting for her. Music swells. The doors open. And Kira enters. She's wearing a gown of pure white, simple but stunning, with silver embroidery that catches the light like stars. Her dark hair falls in waves down her back. No crown yet, that will come later, but she doesn't need one to look regal. She looks powerful, confident, free. As she walks down the aisle, she sees familiar faces, Magnus, beaming with pride. Lyanna, who gives her a small nod of respect. Former rogues who've joined the kingdom, drawn by the story of one of their own becoming queen. And at the end of the aisle, Thorn. Looking at her like she's the sun. She reaches him, takes his offered hands. You're stunning, he murmurs. You're not so bad yourself, your majesty. Soon to be our majesties, he corrects, grinning. The ceremony is beautiful. Traditional words spoken in the old language. Vows exchanged. Hands bound with silver cord, symbolizing the joining of souls. When it's done, when they're officially mated, married, bound together in every way that matters, Thorn pulls her close. Hello my queen, he whispers. Hello my king, she whispers back. They kiss to thunderous applause. To howls of celebration that shake the rafters. And later at the feast, when someone asks Kira how it feels to go from rogue to royalty, she considers the question carefully. It feels, she finally says, looking at Thorn across the crowded hall, like coming home. Because that's what he gave her. Not a crown or a title or power. But home. Family. A place to belong. She was a rogue dying in the snow. He was a king who should have left her there. But he saved her. And in saving her, he saved himself from a lifetime of loneliness. They saved each other. And that, more than any kingdom or crown or destiny, is the real magic. The real miracle. The real happily ever after. The end. In the Northern Kingdom, they still tell the story. Of the rogue who came to kill a king. Of the king who chose to save her instead. Of love that conquered lies, trust that survived betrayal, and two souls who found each other in the snow. They say if you listen carefully on winter nights, when the wind howls and the snow falls soft, you can hear the echo of their vows. A promise kept. A love eternal. A destiny fulfilled. Not in spite of the darkness they survived. But because of it.